fallacy is an argument that fails to make compelling case for its conclusion, and it may contain some error in its reasoning. There's many different kinds of fallacies, and we learned about a lot of them in our class, and so these are some of the examples. And the first one is appeal to popularity. So the basic foundation or setup of this one is that many people believe P is true, therefore P is true. So like an example is a lot of people are buying this drink and only this drink. So like say Mountain Dew, everybody's buying Mountain Dew, so Mountain Dew must be the best pop in the whole entire world. But really, just because a lot of people like that might be buying a certain kind of thing doesn't mean it's the best. That just means a lot of people are buying it. That's it. And so it's appeal to popularity when people try to use arguments or reasoning by backing it up with the fact that a lot of people do it. So there's another example of a fallacy, which is false cause. And the structure of this one is A came before B, therefore A caused B. So an example of this is, let's say I put my hand in this water, and after I did that, like all of a sudden my back felt better. So this water must be magical or something, or like must be healing water. And this is false cause because just because that happened, like seemed to happen at the same time, or your back may have gotten better after that, doesn't mean it was necessarily with the water. It's just that just happened to be it. So it's a false cause. They're trying to argue with not enough evidence. They're creating something that's not even real, kind of thing. Another type is appeal to ignorance, and so the structure of this one is there's no proof that P is true, therefore P is false. An example of this is there's no aliens that have ever visited Earth, therefore aliens do not exist. Just because we don't know something, just because we're ignorant to something, doesn't mean it can't be true. Using this type of reasoning makes your argument seem less respectable, credible, all those kind of things. Like nobody is going to believe you if you don't back up your argument with facts. There's other types of fallacies that we talked about, such as hasty generalization, limited choice, personal attack, straw man, diversion, and circular reasoning. And each of these, mainly either they're based on emotion or opinions or just personal attack on people, and avoiding the real argument, avoiding real facts. They don't actually back up anything with true evidence. So for this reason, when interacting with people, when they're using fallacies, or if you use fallacies, if you know these things, it's easier to tell, like, hey, they're not really backing that up with evidence, I don't know if it's true. But if you don't know what fallacies are, it can be easily, like, you can be easily swayed to believe what they do. And also, you can use fallacies when you argue if you're not really quite sure what they are, and if you do, people aren't going to be as convinced by your arguments or as ready to believe them. And so it's important to know the interaction between people with fallacies and how it works, and what's best not to use, and why it's not necessarily a good thing to use fallacies. That you should, if you have an opinion, that's okay to state, but if you want to prove a point, then you should back up things with true evidence that's been proven, and that people can actually say, hey, that's really true. But you should not be doing it based on opinions or emotions or anything like that. Fallacies should not be used in your argument when you're trying to prove a fact.